My fiancée falsely accused me to get me arrested. She sneered, "Have fun in jail, loser." She didn't know my one phone call was to my dad, the chief of police. He walked into the station and asked the officer, "Would you mind explaining why my son is in handcuffs?" I'm a firefighter. My life is running into burning buildings while everyone else runs out. It's a job built on trust, discipline, and calm amid chaos. I thought my relationship with Jessica was built on the same principles. It turns out it was built on gasoline, and she was waiting to light the match. The fire started last night. We argued. The same argument about money, specifically her spending my money. I'm not wealthy but responsible. I own my small house, pay bills on time, and save for the future. Jessica sees a credit card as a magic wand for designer bags and spa days. She wanted me to co-sign a loan for a luxury car she couldn't afford. I refused. Calm, logical, final. Something snapped in her. Her frustration became cold fury. She screamed, accusing me of being controlling and cheap. Then she grabbed a heavy glass vase, a gift from my late grandmother, and hurled it against the wall, shattering it. She looked at me with a strange smirk and scratched her own arm with her long nails, drawing a thin line of blood. "Get out of my house!" she shrieked, her voice turning a performative tremor. "Your house?" I asked quietly. "This is my house, Jessica." "Not for long," she hissed and dialed 911. I stood frozen as I heard her tearful Oscar-worthy claim. I'd become violent, thrown the vase, terrified her life was in danger. A lie so audacious, my brain struggled to process it. When police arrived, they saw a crying woman with a scratch and shattered vase on the floor, and me, twice her size, silent. Protocol took over. They separated us, took her statement, then arrested me. As they handcuffed me, Jessica appeared on the porch, her tears gone, replaced by a cold smirk. She whispered, "Have fun in jail, loser." I said nothing. I let her believe she'd won. At the station, they put me in a small processing room, took my shoelaces and belt, read my rights, and said I had one phone call. Jessica's plan rested on one arrogant assumption. I was alone, powerless, with no one to call. She'd met my dad a few times, thought he was some desk sergeant nearing retirement. She had no idea who he really was. My father, Robert Williams, is chief of police for the metropolitan area. I'm Matt Carter. I took my mother's maiden name at 18 to build my own life away from his shadow. I picked up the phone. I didn't call a lawyer. I called my dad. Update 1. The hour in that holding cell felt like a lifetime, a cold, concrete box smelling of bleach and regret. I wasn't scared. I'm a firefighter. I've faced worse, but I felt profoundly violated. Jessica hadn't just lied. She weaponized the system my father dedicated his life to. Then footsteps, firm, purposeful, not a public defender's shuffle. The arresting officer appeared, pale and nervous, unlocked my cell. "Mr. Carter, you're free to go. Someone's here to see you." I walked out to find my father in a dark suit, not uniform, but commanding like a general. The station seemed to orbit around him. Officers stood straighter, talked quieter. He put a hand on my shoulder. "You okay, son?" "I'm fine, Dad." He nodded, then addressed the desk sergeant, who looked near panic. "I was reviewing the arrest report. Why wasn't the broken glass location documented? Inside or outside the impact?" "I don't know, Chief," the sergeant stammered. "Check. Physics is basic. An object thrown at a wall shatters inward. Broken against a wall shatters outward. I'd hate to think your officers missed this." He turned to the arresting officer, trying to blend in. "Officer Jennings, my son has no history of violence. The accuser has no prior calls. What specific evidence justified physical arrest instead of separation?" "The complainant had a visible scratch," the officer said nervously. "Protocol dictates discretion." My father cut in coldly. "Protocol also demands thorough investigation. Did you check her fingernails for my son's skin or blood? Or did you just believe a hysterical actress and cuff a first responder?" His question hung. Teaching. Terrifying. He wasn't abusing power, just demanding competence. He turned to me. "Go home, Matt. I've assigned Detective Harding the best in domestic violence. He'll contact you. Don't talk to Jessica or go near her. Let the system work." I left the station a free man. Outside, my phone buzzed. A text from Jessica. "I see you're out. Don't think this is over. Filing for emergency restraining order tomorrow. The house is mine. You'll never set foot again." No reply. I drove, not home, but to my lawyer's office. Jessica thought this was a domestic dispute. It was a war. Update 2. Days after release were a whirlwind of decisive action. Jessica thought she had control. My father's quiet intervention had flipped the board. I met my sharp, pragmatic lawyer and explained everything, including Dad's role. "This changes everything," he said. "Her leverage, threat of criminal charges is gone. We go on offense." He filed an emergency counter-petition in family court. We denied her allegations and accused her of malicious prosecution and abuse of process. I gave a sworn affidavit detailing the night, including that she smashed the vase. We asked the court to deny her restraining order and grant one to me, making me sole resident of my home. While lawyers worked, Detective Harding began his investigation, a methodical man who could smell lies. He dismantled her story piece by piece. The crime scene photos showed glass mostly outside the impact point, consistent with smashing against the wall, not throwing. The scratch was thin and clean, like self-inflicted nail marks, no bruising or signs of struggle. He got a warrant for her phone records. Texts to her best friend revealed plans. "He won't co-sign the loan. I'm done. Don't worry. I have a plan to get everything I deserve." Premeditation was clear. The final nail came from next-door neighbor Mrs. Gable. She'd heard the argument and glass breaking. Then she heard Jessica's voice change, from angry screaming to strange theatrical crying, like rehearsed sobbing. The realtor Jessica contacted for a house appraisal tipped off my lawyer. Emails showed she expected sole possession and to list the house quickly. The evidence was no longer suspicion. It was a documented conspiracy to falsely accuse me, evict me, and liquidate my primary asset. The family court judge denied Jessica's restraining order and granted mine. She was legally barred from coming within 500 feet of me or my home. That day she realized she lost. Jessica's plan not only failed, it backfired devastatingly. She was now the accused in a criminal investigation. Final update: 4 months since the lie nearly destroyed me. That chapter is closed. The criminal case moved swiftly. The district attorney charged Jessica with filing a false police report, perjury in sworn statements, and attempted insurance fraud for vandalism claims. Faced with evidence, crime scene photos, texts, neighbor testimony, realtor emails, her lawyer advised a plea. She pled guilty to filing a false report. Other charges dropped. She avoided jail but got 2 years probation, hefty fines, mandatory counseling, and a permanent criminal record. Her attempt to brand me an abuser ended with her being branded a criminal. The engagement ended. I kept the ring, a conditional gift broken by her actions. I sold it to pay legal fees. My lawyer filed civil suits for malicious prosecution, defamation, emotional distress, and damages for the vase. Her guilty plea made liability undeniable. We settled out of court. She signed over significant savings and agreed to a permanent non-disclosure agreement, never to speak or write about me. If broken, penalties are catastrophic. I legally erased myself from her past, present, and future. Jessica's life is ruined. Criminal record, job struggles, abandoned by friends, broke and alone. She tried to take my house. In the end, she lost everything. I'm healing. The experience scarred me, but forged something new. My relationship with my father transformed. 5 years of prideful silence burned away in crisis. We talk weekly, attend games, share dinners. He's my dad again. Jessica thought I was weak and alone. She was wrong. My quiet nature isn't weakness. It's the discipline to know when to act and when to wait. And I was never alone. I had family, a hidden ace she never saw coming. She sneered, "Have fun in jail." But I'm the one who's free from her lies, and ready to build a new life on truth. She lives in a prison of her own making.